Hey, what's up guys? Come down to the field this evening and I thought I would take a moment to show you the new adjustable bag base from the A4W channel, Mark and Sam After Work. I was in and ahhing whether to sort of order the bag base, but the more I kind of thought about it, the more I thought that I really wanted it for the prone shooting. I have brought the bench with me today, so I'm going to set up on the bench as well, and we can kind of see what that looks like. But as you can see with the grass at the moment, I mean it's quite long. It's probably a good 8 to 10 inches long. Now, if I had my bipod literally on the ground, you could probably half that bipod would be already sunken down into this grass, and you kind of like lose quite a bit of elevation. So I'm going to give you a close-up of the bag base now. As you've probably seen on Mark and Sam's channel, the construction is all stainless steel with some aluminium in there. I think the control knob here is aluminium. I'm not going to do a review of this because obviously he's done a review for his own product, so there's really no reason why I need to do one. But I'm really happy that I ordered the bag base, because for what it gives me, not having to use my left hand to continuously squeeze the bag, and in this type of grass environment, it's a real pain in the arse. Trying to squeeze that much sort of elevation sometimes is you start getting fatigue more than anything else, but it's the inconsistency is the problem. So I'm going to give you a close-up to how I've got this sort of mounted and set up for me. So let me just get the camera moved over so I can give you a bit more close-up. You don't really need to sort of see me on the in front of the camera anyway, so just give me 1 second and I'll move the camera and we can get a close-up of the actual setup, okay? Just bear with me. Okay, so first off, let me just talk a little bit about the metal base, steel base that I've got the bag base sitting on. Like Mark showed on one of his videos, he cut a section out of his bag, out of his mat, and allowed that to sit sort of closer to the floor. Now, whether you're sitting, putting your mat onto a dirt patch or anything, so you don't have the grass to worry about, but grass is always, in this particular field I'm always in, it's always going to be an issue. So I didn't particularly want to cut a whole section out of my mat. Yes, it has got some padding on it, but what I've done now to compensate that, I've got here a piece of old sort of steel that I had as one of my first targets. As you can see there, this is just kind of, I think they call it soft steel or whatever, but it's heavy and it's 20mm thick. I don't shoot with this anymore unless I want to do just some rimfire shooting or something like that. I don't use centre fires on this anymore because you can sort of see there and it starts to cut divots out of the into the steel, but it is heavy. So that is my base. I mean, that base, 20mm steel, is 22 pounds in weight, so there's 10 kilos of steel there. So that should provide me a nice, good, solid base. Squish down most of that grass, squish down most of this mat as well. I mean, that is pretty damn solid. Okay, so now the bag base that I went for, the adjustable bag base, is the version 1 wide, so it's the V1 wide, and this has been made to accept large, almost like bench rest style bags. or any large bags for that matter. As you can see, it's nicely all fixed up steel. It's got the rubber feet there on the bottom. Now the bag I have for this, now just as a curiosity, the weight of this actually is 5.28 pounds, so there's another 2.3 kilos of weight on top of this steel. And the bag I've got here is, let me just move that camera around a bit, is a heavy duty sandbag. It's one of the heaviest sands that I could find. I think it's the most expensive sand as well, but never mind about that. Now that sandbag is another 10 kilos, sorry, another 10 pounds, so another 4 kilos, nearly 5 kilos of weight on top of that. So that is a lot of weight for me to get a suitable sturdy base to shoot from. Okay. What I've done is a couple little things I just wanted to add my own little kind of touches for the bag base. I wasn't overly keen on just the thin piece of steel that came here for the handle. I think in all essence he could have made it just a little bit thicker there to give you a bit more kind of purchase on your fingers. But like I said, I didn't like it because it was just a bit too thin. So what I've done is wrapped it round with some paracord. I mean, this is not something that you have to do, it's just something I wanted, just personally for me. On the centre of the bag base, on the adjustable plate, I put a non-slip material, same as I've done on just double-sided sticky tape on top of the steel as well. So I mean that just doesn't go anywhere, it stays like in place. And of course with the weight of the bag as well, everything, it just sits beautifully well, so I don't have to worry about anything moving. There are various other ones that Mark has done. He's done the V1, V2, V3. With the V3 you end up with the extra feet, and the V4. The V4 is a wide one to accept large bags, but for me it just wasn't worth me ordering the V3 or the V4 for two reasons really. The first one was the V3 doesn't accept large bags. It was meant for the bag that he kind of shows on his channel, for relatively kind of narrow small bags, and that's fine. If I try to squeeze this on there, this is about 5.5 inches across. It was going to be a real squeeze to try and get that into the other models. Which means I would have to kind of push it up and squeeze it up to try and pour it into the bag. Now with this one here, yes, I've got extra room at the sides here, but like I said, with it being such a heavy sandbag, it's not really going anywhere. And if I really wanted to, I can actually put this into a bit of a frame if I wanted to, a bit like a kind of protector bag, and maybe do something. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. But that's the initial sort of setup. Now, in terms of construction, I think Mark's done a great job. I mean, I do like it. Now, there's a bit of a thing where some people say they're not too keen on the TIG welds, showing the TIG welds here. It doesn't overly bother me, to be honest. It's something that, yeah, possibly it could have maybe tidy that up or polish them out or something like that. I'm not, like I say, overly fussed about it. Excuse me just 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can see these TIG wells on there, and you know, if it really bothers you, then you know, maybe it's not for you, or you might want to maybe even polish them out if you really wanted to. But like I said, it's no big deal. Aesthetically, yes, it's something I think that maybe could have been done to give a slightly better looking product, I think. But you know, he's an engineer, and probably things like that. You know, it's just a robust unit. It does its job. Um, there's, you know, good machining work's gone into the control knob there. Um, you know, it works very well, and it's not too free and easy. It's kind of like got a nice sort of slow twist to it, so it stays in place really well. Um, I mean, you know, you might ask yourself, you know, why would you want something like this, or you know, do you need something like this? Well, there's been many times where I've not had enough elevation at the back. As you can see, this is not a small bag. You know, it's quite a high bag. Um, and then sometimes when you're shooting on grass, you know, you're faced with the fact that your bipod, even that bipod there, you know, I can have it fully retracted, and it's a fairly big bipod. Um, but you lose a lot of leg length, where sometimes you know, you have to buy extensions and stuff like that. So what we've got there to bring up the surface, or bring up the ground, say, it's just a board, a platform that's been made from some old decking boards. My brother just quickly just knocked this up. He had some the wood at his house, and it was great because just went around there, told him kind of what I wanted, if he had any spare wood, and we just knocked it up in about a few minutes. So that is a nice, good, sturdy platform. There's say two boards done together there with another board underneath to give the support. But that's come out really well, and it really does, which means now that I've got extra elevation from the floor, and I can actually lower the bipod legs to suit the bag. But really happy with how this has come together, and hopefully going to be doing some practice with my load development and stuff, and just not having that whole issue about kind of squeezing the bag continuously at the back, which obviously is inconsistent, allows the rifle to fall, which is not good. And so let me just put the rifle on there, and you can kind of just see the whole setup together. Okay, so got the rifle kind of just set up on the bag base here, on the platform. Now, incidentally, with the platform there, I can choose to put carpet on there if I wanted to actually use ski feet or something like that. I can use spikes on this. It just kind of gives me more options to get above this, like say the grass and stuff. I mean, the grass was only cut literally a couple of weeks ago, and it's already like you know, like I said, up to about 10 inches. He didn't give it a particularly short cut because this is like all new grass. So now with this sort of set in place now, I mean, it is solid. I mean, I've got the kind of the forward and back. Now in this Accutac bipod, it's not like an Atlas where there's lots of what you call like slop. I mean, I like that on the Atlas. On my 223, which has got the Atlas, even with the leg extensions, it produces a lot of forward and backward motion. It's really nice, and you get a really nice kind of backwards. It's almost like a sledge, a sled. But with this, yes, it's a little bit shorter on the forward and back motion, but you don't need an awful lot if that's what you've got. So as long as you allow it to recoil back into in a straight manner, then that's all you really need anyway. Like I said, with the Atlas it just has it, and you can use it to its full advantage. But like I say, you can see there is enough, just enough, to get that kind of more forward motion. But like now, you know, set up on a target, I can leave the rifle just sitting there, and a few turns with the control knob up and down elevation is just perfect. It's just so nice not to continuously have to squeeze that bag. Now remember, this is not for hunting purposes. This is just purely if you want to try and create the most stable platform for load development and things like that. So people might say, oh well, you know, isn't that over the top? That you've got a platform and you've got an adjustable bag. No, it isn't, because there's plenty of people that go to a shooting range that shoot off a concrete or a solid wood bench, like a really heavy duty bench, because that is the ultimate in stability for them. So they feel that when they're shooting off something like that, they've got all the stability there. Well, I like shooting prone, so I need to be able to produce as much stability as I can in the prone position for load development. Not for hunting. I mean, we're not talking about trying to shoot a small group onto an animal. This is purely for precision work. I want to be able to try and squeeze out the most accuracy out of my rounds. Otherwise, what's the point of me trying to accomplish and making accurate ammunition if the errors are all going to come from me? You know, it's not worth it. Like I said, if I came out here and I need to do some hunting, of course I would just grab a bag and you know, go for it. It's not a problem. I just need to be on target, and I just need to have that one, because sometimes you're only going to get that one shot, you know, on your target, and you're not looking for how small a group that you can shoot. You just literally want to hit what you're aiming at. But even saying that, you know, there's still things that you're doing correctly with a rear bag. You let go of it just at the wrong second, you've relaxed it too much, and you've taken a long shot, you know, you're going to come off that target. And then plus the fact that if you've taken the shot and you literally relaxed your left hand, and the rifle's kind of dropped, you're looking around then, oh crap, you know, what was I looking at? So with this, I don't have that. I should be able to just take my shot, there's nothing, chamber's empty, you know, let's put it straight, and then when you're into you know, your group shooting, you can just relax, and if you feel that you just haven't got quite the elevation, then it's a little turn and boom, you're there. Boom. Love it. I am really happy that I've ordered it. There was people that I kind of spoke to before, and you know, sometimes they'll, oh, I wouldn't bother with something like that. I'm just quite happy to, you know, shoot off a bag. But like I said, that's absolutely fine. If you're really going to do that just for hunting, you do not need any of this setup. Hunting is a completely different discipline. Fundamentals are the same in terms of accuracy, but you're not shooting a precision type group for load development. You know, a deer stalker, he's got a anything from a 50-yard target up to maybe a 300-400 yard target, and you know, he's got like a good 10 to 20 inches of target, depending on the size of the deer he's going for, whatever. But this is just purely for me to improve my prone setup, and I'm happy with this setup. I've definitely got enough height there to get above fairly tall grass, to be fair, so that should do me well. And when I really can't get down in the prone position, I'm going to set up my bench now, and I'll show you from the bench and see what that looks like, and what additions I've done to the bench to improve things as well. So bear with me, and I'll get that set up right now. Okay, so I have the portable bench set up now. I mean, this is a very good sort of sturdy bench. For being a portable bench, it is very sturdy. Have got some legs out in the front as well, that just gives it even extra bit of support. And one of the modifications we did with this bench, my brother and I, we drilled holes in front of the bench to allow a heavy gauge steel plate to extend the bench, like to give it more length, and there's a good reason for that. Now, this long portion that you find on most benches, normally everybody kind of sets the buttstock back here, and then when you literally try to get into, like, behind you, the way most benches seem to be cut out, you're always faced with this sideways on type thing. You've got the rifle's buttstock is almost like too far out, so really you kind of want to try and match what you're doing in the prone position by being more behind the rifle. So what we did, we extended the bench to allow the rifle to sit more forward. I think when I ordered this bench quite a few years ago, there was a version that you could have a more longer bench, but I don't know if that only included this particular side portion that was the longer portion. I really can't remember now, but I'm sure there were two sizes. So we found that any rifle on this particular long piece of the bench is totally fine, but like I said, the issue is that you always seem to be sideways onto the rifle. So we extended the bench. Now you can see the rifle, hopefully you can just about sort of see that I know from the angle it's a bit different, but the rifle now is almost in the middle of the bench. I mean, yes, it comes up to the very back part here, but what this allows me to do now with this seat as well, which I'll show you what the bench looks like in a second, but this now enables me to get more aggressive onto the bench, and the buttstock is right in line to my collarbone, or just underneath my collarbone, as the same as when I'm in the prone position. And now what that allows me to do, I can really get behind the rifle. Again, we've still got that kind of forward and backwards motion on there. I've got this on carpet now. The great thing about having a kind of thick piece of carpet like this, I can easily put spikes on if I want to get even more traction on there. But this is a pretty good non-slip. I mean, the paint that we used on this is a really good spray paint. It's camo paint. It grips really well. It's got a good almost like non-slip matte finish. So like I said, I can now get really behind the rifle, sink my head, and it's really like sturdy. So that should be good for quite a few like different like calibers. This is obviously a 6.5 caliber, 6x47. But that is great now for me to be able to really get on target and get suitably behind the rifle to absorb the recoil, but also to stop the rifle from slipping outward if it was literally too far out onto my shoulder. But that is perfect for me to get really nicely tucked in. And if you notice my elbows, I know you can't quite sort of see that, they're almost parallel to each other, which is exactly what you want when you're in the prone position. Okay. I mean, that is sturdy. And like I said, if I've got to shoot up quite far, like say 800 yards, if I want to shoot off 800 yards off this bench, I've done that before. The only issue I had on that particular day was, again, you've always got that kind of thing with the bag situation where you've got to, you know, kind of squeeze it for elevation. You've got quite a bit of movement in that bag. But as you can see, the adjustable bag base sits nicely on the rubber feet that it has. I mean, that is not going anywhere. You know, I kid you not, that is firmly in place. So all that's moving is the rifle, backwards and forwards, which is exactly what I want for shooting. Again, works great. Sorry about the sun coming out now. Oh, I bet that's blinding now, isn't it? But I am really happy with the adjustable bag base. Oh, that sun. Just 1 second. Okay, let me just stand behind the camera for a second and just give you a kind of view of the bench set up there. Like I said, it's normally a two-piece base. You've got the seat portion there, that's all one piece, and then the top comes off, and like I said, you've got two pieces there. But now with the bits of wood there, they just add even just a little bit more stability. As you can see, one leg is further in from the other. That's just because the ground is uneven there, but it just gives even more support to that front piece. This only would be to try and get the most stability if you're group shooting, of course. If you're literally prairie dog shooting, or you're you're set up because you want to do some vermin shoot, then obviously that's not going to be an issue. The bench can more than handle anything like that. But no, it's a great setup. Really happy with that. It's come in handy sort of many times for when trying to get onto the fields, and it's just been far too long with the grass and everything. So let me just move this camera because I can't believe it. Okay, I've put the sun behind me now, so hopefully that's not blinding anyone. It certainly was blinding me trying to film as well. But as you can see there, the seat is adjustable. What that allows me to do is to be able to lean onto the bench more, to, like I said, get more aggressive on the bench, more forward, being able to get the rifle much more better centralized to my body. Now some people might want that seat low, so they have like kind of almost like their full weight onto the bench, so you know you might even feel that you're kind of rocking backwards a little bit. It's not been an issue with that, but what I find is that now changing my seating position to be able to be more forward on the bench, I can have the seat a lot more higher to allow me to be more comfortable, and to allow my legs to share some of the actual stability by being on the floor, rather than to dangle or whatever, or to be confined too low, where you're I think sometimes you can actually feel that you're getting leg fatigue, because you know, you can be a bit too low. On some benches I've sat on before, they've always been very low to the ground. But let me just move the camera in a little bit. Now you can see, like I said, it's more central in the on top of the bench now. I mean, this other portion that you know, it's, I don't really need it, to be fair, because like I said, it wasn't the best way for me to try and get in behind my rifle. The benches are just not really kind of set up that way. But if you were having a bit of a kind of bench rest set up, where you're not really behind the rifle, you're just literally setting up the rifle to be on your front rest and rear bag, where you literally are not part of the system, then great. You can use that back portion there and run, you know, a bench rest style type shooting if that's what you wanted. But now this is just so much better for me to be able to, like I said, get behind the rifle, which I always find that's always been one of the bad points with some of these benches, and not just a portable bench. This is for quite a lot of benches have this particular issue where you tend to be sideways. Various I've seen lots of YouTube videos of people shooting, and you know, sometimes you can see that the rifle is literally high and to the right of their shoulder. You know, on a very little recoiling rifle, probably not a problem, but on something that's going to give you a bit of a kick or whatever, it's I just find that you're going to be off target. You're going to be looking for your target all the time, and you're going to lose your sight picture. So just one second. Okay guys, that's all I have for you right now. I just wanted to kind of show you the prone setup and possibly, you know, the bench setup as well. So this is something I can use together when I need to. But ideally, when the grass is short enough, I particularly like being in a prone position. But going back to the adjustable bag base, I think it's great. Like I said, I know it's not for everyone and this and that, but some people, you know, instead of getting a bag base, they'll go for $600-700 front rest, a seb rest, whatever. I like shooting off bipod, so for me the weak link for me was for precision type shooting. It was the bag that was always like the issue. So I just wanted something that I would be able to put this onto the bag base using a nice good heavy sandbag. Like with the piece of steel that I showed you there, that 20mm steel, that flattens down that grass and flattens down the shooting mat, so there's very minimal, because the sponge is always there, but it's very minimal like the issue with any bounce. But no, very happy that I've ordered it. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if someone had maybe created one here and marketed it as a product and stuff, but you know, I follow Mark and Sam's channel. He was the first guy that seemed to sort of come up with the idea, and he saw a market for it. It's something that he uses in all of his videos. So I thought, well, why not? And I'm very happy to add that to my kit to do some precision shooting, and look forward to putting it through its paces and give me the stability and what I'm looking for. So anyway guys, I'll catch you guys on the next one. I might have a little bit of light left. I've brought a few rounds with me. Possibly might even turn the rest of this evening into a bit of a potential hunt, if possible, if something decides to come out and play. So anyway, look forward to seeing you guys soon, and catch you on the next one.